So I thought I'd make a video. Needed to. Something I don't think I've ever talked about this. Because I was thinking, who are the people that called? Who are the people that picked up the phone when my dad used to call? And I was thinking this like all last night, last few days or something, and last couple of days, and I was thinking, I'm 100% about this. Bruce Myron picked up the phone and heard my dad speaking, looking for me. And this happened at least once in front of me, and I know this happened at least probably one other time, maybe even 3 times. But I remember Bruce picking up the phone, and Robert Zarate was at our house at that specific day, and Bruce happened to pick up the phone because a lot of the repeated friends that came in my house felt very comfortable around me. They felt so comfortable that they could pick up the phone in my home, and I didn't hate them for it. I was like, wait, hold on, who's that? And so they were kind of participating in the functions of the house. And I remember Bruce Myron picked up the phone. And my dad was saying, I'm Raymond Palomo, where's Hector? I want to speak to Hector. I want to talk to him. I want to speak to Hector. I want to say this happened, that I was there twice, but I know that this happened more. I know it did. So Bruce Myron, I know, my understanding, he passed away, and that was a story too. So Bruce Myron heard my dad's voice, and heard my dad. He's 100%. Ashley was one of them as well, at least a couple of times, at least twice. I know Bruce, I was there one time when I saw him pick up the phone. I walked in and he heard my dad. He was like, who are you? Who's this? And I know that happened once, and I happened to reach out to him. And then I know that there was another time where I was outside, hey, somebody's on the phone, saying, somebody's on the phone for you. And it was very sad because my dad sounded very sad. It sounded like it was an old man was searching, desperately looking for me. So I thought I'd say that because it's just very sad. I remember looking the expressions of Bruce whenever he heard my father's voice, and he was very like he felt sad, because you could hear that this old man cared about my life, and he was like, I want to talk to Hector, my son. And Robert was there that day. I know, one of those days. So Ashley, Robin, Bruce, who else picked up? Oh, Michael at least picked up the phone. I know at least once. And the thing is that when Ashley picked up the phone or Robin picked up the phone, Michael usually felt like he needed to take charge of things or want to take control. And then he'd be like, oh, wait, hold on, let me see, who is this? And then Robin may pass the phone over. You'd have to talk to Robin and Ashley and Bruce to find out. But I know that Michael Rossiter picked up the phone at least once, and I told him not to worry about it. I was like, no, don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. And I don't know if I told him if it wasn't my uncle, because he knew, whether it could be my uncle or not. And he just never met my uncle, but I didn't tell him that. He knew that it was probably my father. At that time, Michael Rossiter was like, I'm just wanting to don't get involved. I'm just here to party and have a house. But it wasn't necessarily all that greedy, but you can see he kind of was having secondary thoughts of well, that's your responsibility. But you could sense he had some sort of something's wrong, empathy, kind of deal, but nothing compared to when Bruce picked up the phone. I could see that Bruce was he was sad, man, you have your dad looking for you, dude, dude, that's your dad, dude, and he heard his voice. And who else picked up the phone? I think there was another transgender. I don't remember this person's name. Jessica? I don't remember this person's name. They used to say that she looked like an anteater, or at least what Michael used to always make jokes about it. And I think Ashley did, but I know Michael used to always say that. But I thought I'd say that because that's 3 people that can identify that my dad was repeated calling and they could hear the desperation of my dad's voice looking for me. Hector, insane. Hector's my son. Where's my son Hector? I want to talk to my son Hector. I'm Raymond Palomo. I'm his dad. So I wanted to say, I don't know exactly the words, but I know that's how my dad always represented himself when he picked up the phone and random people picked up the phone. Is he always said, I'm Raymond Palomo. Hector's my son. I want to talk to my son Hector. He always represented himself that way, very commonly. Because he had these patterns the way he did these things. I thought it was important for me to talk about who else could have picked up the phone. Maybe Robert Zarate, maybe once. Maybe. I know that he didn't come to my house to me toward the end, and he showed up just a few times at that time to my house. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Because there was about one total year that I didn't hang around Robert. It was like 10 months, I would say. I just didn't hang around with him on occasion to see him, because I was getting closer to some other friends. But there was about 10 months. I would say no more than a year, because I remember he had a growth spurt, and all of a sudden he got really tall, and that's when that growth spurt happened. But I know Eric didn't feel comfortable enough to pick up the phone. Nobody else did. Kevin may be another person as well. I think Kevin did pick up the phone, because I remember how Ashley and Robin would have said something to Kevin, and Mike would have said something to some other people, but Kevin, I think, picked up the phone. He did, because sometimes I would be outside, and I was made sure, because I didn't know my dad would call sometimes. But I thought I'd make a video on that. They'd be able to tell you, but confirmed, Michael Rossiter, Robin, Ashley, and Bruce. And I remember the expressions like Chris Martinez, and they were looking at me like it was kind of sad. Like they were kind of like, kind of not like I was a bad person, but was like they knew that there was dysfunctional things that I wasn't saying about with the relationship between my family and my dad and what was going on at that house. And I could see that expression. Because when they looked at me, they kind of looked at me kind of like, not like a traitor or nothing, but it was like sort of a little bit of distance and empathy. But I'm trying to think who else picked up the phone. I can't think of anyone else that picked up the phone, but I do remember very distinctively Bruce picking up the phone. Very distinctively Bruce picking up the phone, and he was just because sometimes my dad was able to talk more over the phone or share more few words, even though the conversation and looking for me was very short at all times. But most of the time, I know Ashley got a good sense of it, so did Robin. You could tell when I looked at Bruce, he was like, he was kind of like looking like, we don't know really what's going on here, but, the old man's looking for you, saying he's your dad. So that's what I wanted to share. I don't recall, Chris might have sort of 50-50, could have felt comfortable enough to pick up the phone. I know Robin always did, and Ashley always did, and so did Michael, and so did Bruce. Wasn't until toward maybe mid to half toward the end of the parties. But I thought it was important to share, because they all heard his voice, and it's very sad. It was very sad, I remember, because I didn't want people to feel sorry for me, and it was hard for me to, I just can't go to people and saying, hey, oh, by the way, I'm watching dead people die at the nursing home, and I'm being compassionate and nice to these people. My dad's dying there, and he has all this money. Hey, guess what? Just take advantage of me more. I already have my mother doing this, or her boyfriend doing this, and I have Frankie not in the picture. Don't know where the hell he is, and I have to fend for my life now. So if I'm going to have a shot to try to have this, I got to make this happen by not saying anything and try to do this the best way that I can, because I know that some of these people, most of them, don't really give a shit, because when I'm out of that house, I have nothing to offer you. So I thought that was important. As far as anything else goes, with this, I'm trying to think of anyone else that picked up the phone. No one really that I can think of could have felt comfortable enough to pick up the phone. Um, David. David might be another person that could have picked up the phone. He might have. I think he could have. But I know Eric Quintero wouldn't have. He wouldn't have felt comfortable to pick up the phone. He was more on the respective sort of side of, at least that distance. He wouldn't have picked up the phone. But David may have been one. And so the 50-50 kind of would have been, I think Kevin would have felt more comfortable picking up the phone than Chris Martinez. Or they would have been about the same, 50-50. And David probably even a little bit more less. But that was pretty much it, which is Ball David, we call him Bird. And, but I want to say I think Kevin picked up the phone at least once. I know he did once because, there wasn't a lot of people, but there was a lot of everybody kind of doing their own thing and talking to one another. And it wasn't like I was just gone, trashing, thinking this is a party. They felt really comfortable at my house. They felt very, very comfortable. Like it was kind of their home, kind of like the home feeling where like, yeah, we all got a house, kind of. But it wasn't like trashing. It didn't get trashy like that until, obviously, when I was 17 and the drugs started. For about a 6 to 10 month period of time, we were starting to do hard drugs, and that's when I turned 18, told Michael, get the fuck out. I don't want to do these drugs anymore. I don't care about your equipment anymore. So, but I'm trying to think who could have picked up the phone. And that's nobody else that I know of. I think, I don't know what this person's name is. Jessica, no. Amy, Amanda, no. That would have been it, yeah. There wouldn't have been anybody else. So, but they picked. Those are four confirmed 100% where I saw them pick up the phone and say, hey, pass the phone to me, because my dad happened to share a few words and was like, here, give me the phone. He goes, and they pick up the phone and be like, hey, there's some guy calling on the phone. So sometimes they're able to share a few words. Who are you? Who's this? And then I'd go run over to the kitchen, or I'd open the door or something, and I'd just, hey, hold on, Kim, pick up the phone. And I would, say, I have to talk to you later. I'm going to call you later, okay? I'll call you later. I'll call you tomorrow or whatever. And I'd call my dad later. So anyway, that was the story. I don't know anybody else, but those are the four confirmed people that did pick up the phone. I saw them and heard them at more than one occasion. And they heard this. My dad was saying the same thing every time. Never showed pissed off when I talked to him, and I could tell, and he didn't sound angry when I talked. He was just wanting to talk to me, saying, Hector's my son. I want to look for Hector. I want to talk to my son Hector. And the second I picked up the phone and he heard my voice, I could see my dad in total comfort. Like, I could hear he was just like, oh, like he wasn't even mad that I was having people at the house. He was just like, oh, hey Hector, hey son, how you doing? And didn't even care about the house. So his voice kind of sounded like that. He wasn't like, what are you doing in my house with these people? Never. He was just very content to hear my voice, hear my life. But yeah, that's it. You'd have to ask these other people whether they picked up the phone or not. I don't believe there ever was. But I think Kevin may have picked up the phone once, or Ashley said, hey, I think there's an old man. He says he's Hector's dad. And then Kevin would look at me kind of like trying to figure out what the situation is, because it looks very suspicious on me and very alienating of my own family, that maybe I'm doing something a lot more darker than it seems. But I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't say too much of the details. So anyway, I thought I'd say something, because I do remember, I think Kevin, one day we were in the kitchen all talking, and there wasn't too much loud music. They were still setting the equipment up, and Kevin was just kind of looking at me, and And then he was looking at, and I don't know if they were trying to figure out if I was gay or not, but they were just kind of like, I don't know. So anyway, you'd have to talk to them, figure out what those answers are. But that's the story to it. They all heard my father's voice, searching of me, always saying, "Where's my son? Hector's my son."